Olamide burst through the doors before the invaders could light the torches to burn them down. The men laughed when they saw it was just a young woman. The laughter stopped when she drove a spear through the first one's chest. Fast, sharp, and precise. Inside, Tade took a deep breath. He rolled up his sleeves, cleaned his hands, boiled water, and took control of the birthing room with calm authority. He spoke gently to the mother. "It's okay. You are not alone. Push when I tell you. I won't let anything happen to your child." Outside, screams, steel clashing, footsteps, Olamide fighting like she was born to. Inside, silence, then a soft cry, a baby's cry. A child was safely delivered, alive and breathing. The women cried in relief. By morning, the main army returned to the village, victorious from stopping the northern attack, but what they found at home was chaos. Dead enemy soldiers on the ground. Olamide bleeding, breathing hard, still gripping a spear. Tade inside the birthing hut, holding a newborn baby, covered in blood and clot. The mother and child alive. The villagers began to gather. A woman fought like a warrior, and a man delivered a child. This is against the gods. The warriors stood in shock. The elders stepped forward. Olamide and Tade then realized they weren't being looked at like heroes. They were being looked at like abominations. Palace courtyard was silent when they brought Olamide and Tade forward. The Oba's guards stood in two neat lines, their spears glinting under the morning sun. Drummers who usually played to celebrate life and victory now beat slow, hollow rhythms of judgment. Both Olamide and Tade walked barefoot through the red earth, their wrists loosely tied with vine rope. The air smelled of palm oil, sweat, and fear. The people of Arodon filled the palace square. Men, women, elders, children, faces drawn with shock and grief. They had come not out of curiosity but disbelief. The two who had saved them from death were being judged like criminals. Olamide's head was high, though her knees trembled. Tade walked beside her, quiet, eyes lowered, his hands shaking slightly as he held the courage he didn't feel. At the far end of the courtyard sat Oba Aderemi, ruler of Arodon, on a carved throne of Iroko wood. His robe shimmered gold and white, and his face was calm but unreadable. Around him sat the chiefs, lined on either side, grey-haired men, the keepers of law and tradition. Beside the throne stood High Priestess Adeshewa, tall and slender in her white robes, a staff of divination resting against her shoulder. When the drummers stopped, the Oba spoke. His voice carried like thunder through the courtyard. "Olamide, daughter of Abeni, the midwife of the western quarter. Tade, son of Alamu the warrior. You stand accused of defying the sacred balance of Arodon." A hush fell over the crowd. "In this kingdom," the Oba continued, "women bring life and healing, and men guard the land with blood and iron. These roles are not man's invention. They are the will of the gods, passed down from our ancestors. Yet you, Olamide, took up arms and shed blood in battle. And you, Tade, entered a sacred space, forbidding to men and deliver the child." The Oba's gaze swept over them both. "Do you deny these acts?" Olamide shook her head. "No, my king. I fought because the bandits had entered our homes, and no warrior was left to defend us." Tade's voice was low but steady. I delivered the child because the mother was dying and no midwife was strong enough to help. I did what had to be done. A murmur passed through the crowd, some in admiration, some in fear. The chiefs leaned in, whispering among themselves. One of them, Chief Olofin, struck the ground with his staff. Good intentions do not erase defiance. The gods see disobedience, not excuses. Another chief added sharply, if the walls of tradition fall, our people will forget who they are. The Oba nodded solemnly. The law of Arodon is clear. Those who break divine rules must be purified. At sunrise tomorrow, you will be taken to the river of forgetting. The crowd gasped. The river of forgetting was not just a river. It was death disguised in ritual. Those cast into it were tied to stones and lowered beneath the water until their bodies drifted away downstream, their memories said to be erased by the gods. Cries rose from the people. No! They saved us! They fought for us! Mothers clutched their babies, and young men who had witnessed the bandit attack shouted in anger, if not for her, we'd all be dead. If not for him, that mother and child would have perished. The palace guards stepped forward to silence the crowd, but the shouting grew louder. Some villagers even fell to their knees, begging the Oba to reconsider. Olamide's mother, still weak from sickness, pushed through the crowd, leaning on a stick, her voice cracked with tears. My king, if my daughter had done nothing, you'd have buried a dozen mothers today. Is courage now a sin? Even the Oba's expression softened for a moment. He looked at her, then at Tade's parents. The old warrior said nothing but sorrow lined his features, and his mother wept in despair. The chiefs, however, were unmoved. Mercy invites rebellion, Chief Olofin warned. If we bend now, others will follow. Men will become midwives, women will pick up swords, and chaos will rule the land. The Oba exhaled deeply and turned to the high priestess. Adeshawa, what do the gods say? The priestess stepped forward slowly, her eyes deep and unreadable. She raised her staff, tapping it gently against the ground. The courtyard quieted instantly. The gods have been silent, she said at last, but perhaps they wait, not for our judgment, but for proof. Proof? The Oba echoed. The priestess looked from Olamide to Tade. Her voice lowered but carried clear across the square. Let there be a trial, not of punishment, but of truth. Let the gods themselves decide if these two acted from arrogance or from destiny. The chiefs stared uneasily. What kind of trial? Adeshawa's tone sharpened, almost daring them to interrupt. Olamide will lead a company of warriors to the Crimson Valley, where the bandit clan gathers strength. It is a cursed place, where even seasoned men have met their deaths. If she truly carries the spirit of a warrior, let her triumph where they have failed. The murmurs spread like wildfire through the crowd. The Crimson Valley was feared even by soldiers. The priestess turned to Tade. And you, son of Alamu, will remain in the palace. The queen's unborn child is cursed, its birth foretold under the next blood moon. The child lies in breech, and every midwife who has tried to aid the queen has failed. If you can bring that child safely into the world, then perhaps the gods have truly chosen you. The Oba stared in disbelief. You ask them to do the impossible. Adeshawa met his gaze. Exactly. Only the impossible can reveal the will of the gods. The courtyard went silent. No drumbeat, no whispers, only the wind passing through the palms. The other turned slowly toward the accused. If either of you fails, your sentence remains. You will both be cast into the river of forgetting. Together, no second chances. He paused, his voice softening with the faintest hint of pity. But if you both succeed, the laws of Arodon will be rewritten. The crowd erupted again, but this time not in anger. It was disbelief, awe and fear. Olamide felt her heart pound against her ribs. Lead warriors into the Crimson Valley? She was not even a soldier. Her hands had only held spears made of wood, never iron. But something inside her refused to yield. Beside her, Tade's palms were sweating. Deliver the queen's child, a royal heir caused by prophecy? Indeed, he had a number of successful bets, but he had never handled a human breech, and now the queen's life rested in his hands. The priestess stepped closer. The choice is yours. Accept the trial or face the river. Olamide's eyes met Tade's. Both were terrified, but they saw in each other a reflection of something stronger than fear. Purpose. They nodded together. We accept. This chapter closes here, but the story continues. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so don't hesitate to share them in the comments below. And remember to subscribe and like so you'll be ready for the next chapter in this unfolding tale. Share this video with someone who likes and enjoys stories like this as well. Thank you for listening.